Hello and welcome to a 1v1 cast in Calderas Refinery. Before I start today's cast off, I just want to mention two things. First thing is that I'm going to have to cut down my casting from once a day to 3 times a week. I know I wrote this in the video description yesterday, but this is just a message for people who didn't read the video description yesterday. So instead of releasing one a day, I will be releasing casts on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and that is because I've started a full-time job now and will not have the time. Well, I might have the time, but because I'm getting settled into the job, this might even be temporary for only a month until I'm settled into my new job, and then I can go back up to once a day. But I'll have to see about that in the future. Second thing I want to talk about today is the monthly Rumble tournament today. If the stream is live, you will see a notification in the bottom left-hand corner on YouTube when viewing this video, so be sure to click that if you actually want to check out the monthly Rumble tournament. Today is 1v1 single elimination tournament, as it always is. And you'll see some high-level 1v1 play, so you can have a look at the link that will be showing up on the video if it's live, and if not, you can have a look at the link in the description as well to the stream. We're already starting off the players here against GuruSkippy playing as a Kommando up here, and Yaay playing as the Hive Tyrant already. The first engagement is underway here. Termagon's going to get forced off here. K-Nub is going to be able to pick off models at a time here. He does 100 damage per burst here with his shooter. 100 damage per burst is enough to take down Termagon models, and is quite scary against Kommando to play against. Already the Hive Tyrant trying to tie up these shooters trying to kite around. Look like the Hive Tyrant just killed his own Homagon there with his own special, which looks a little bit odd, but Slugger's coming in from the rear flank here. Yaay is a little bit unmatched here with only just Homagons and the Hive Tyrant. Slugger's coming in from behind. That Kommando is going to be picking off multiple models here. That shooter is just so effective at bleeding off Termagon models, given that they have such low health per model. But the Hive Tyrant going to come in for a flank here against these shooters. The Homagons are now safely out of the way here, and Slugger's on the retreat path now of this Hive Tyrant. But the Hive Tyrant with 400 HP should be a bit too much here for Guru to actually kill. But Hive Tyrant getting brought down to 190 HP. Going to try and kill him in range, but not going to be enough. Guru's just going to move towards the mid, and already they are tier 1.5 units out in the field. There are looters here for GuruSkippy, and there are warriors here for Yaay. Normally you see GuruSkippy opting to go for triple shooters. I've seen him go triple shooters in multiple replays before this game in particular, but instead this game's going for just double shooters, going for looters instead here as well. So it's a bit of a different build to what I normally see from Guru. Meanwhile, Yaay going to go for the Barb Strangler warriors here. Very effective against Orks, very effective against Sluggers. If you actually ground target with the Barb Strangler against Sluggers that are like enclosing into you, and you get the suppression onto them, they can't do too much about it. And Sluggers are the ultimate counter to the warriors. When they get the burner upgrade, their power melee is very effective against the warriors since they are heavy infantry. And if those Sluggers get suppressed and can't get into melee combat, they're going to be fairly useless throughout the game. The Kommando Nub is here. Warriors do detect as well, so the Kommando Nub will need to be a bit careful here. And Warriors making their way here with the Termagons. Now that Warriors are out in the field, I don't think Yaay is going to go for Ravenous here. I think he's going to go for upgrades. In fact, he's actually getting upgrades on one of his Termagons already, so that means he's going to get the rest of the upgrades now for the rest of his squads. Is not going to bother about Ravenous, and could go for the extended Carapace on the Hive Tyrant, so he could actually charge in against these looters as a source of interrupting them compared to going for Ravenous and burrowing with them. The Kommando are going to try and engage these warriors here, getting slowed down by the crippling poison here from the Termagons. They're doing so much damage here to the Kommando, but the Kommando does need to be a bit careful, does not have any armor whatsoever here, so he's going to get the very low and is not going to be able to heal here. And Slug's going to be engaging Termagons here, but one crippling poison was still available here. Now the Barb Strangler warriors coming in with the suppression. These Slugs are so slow right now, and meanwhile the Hive Tyrant is tying up the looters as well, is getting that extended Carapace upgrade as well, so he can actually use the charge in later on, and the Hive Tyrant is going to force off those looters as well. Shooters also forced off at the same time here, and GuruSkippy is forced all the way back to the base. Meanwhile, Yaay is pushing in right outside the base here of GuruSkippy. Guru going to be fairly base locked for now until he can actually break Yaay out and force off his army. But luckily for GuruSkippy, Yaay does not actually have the resources here to put down a brood nest. Brood nest does cost 100 red, and Yaay only on 59 here. If there was a brood nest down, it would be even harder to actually push out the base right now. I don't think that Yaay is going to be able to get the red to actually put down a brood nest before Guru is able to break out of here of his own base. The looters are set up. Warriors behind green cover, they will not get suppressed here by these looters. When behind green cover, you take reduced courage damage, especially at maximum range there. The sluggers and shooters all the way inside the base here. The Hive Tyrant is going to be going in here, is going to use that melee charge and going in here, but all these Termagants and Harmagants gain suppressed here. These looters are doing so much work right now. The Bar Strangler Warriors unable to actually get a shot onto the looters and force melee onto them as well. Hive Tyrant going in a little bit too far, but these Termagants going very low right now. Going to go down here to range damage here from the shooters. Warriors as well going in a little bit aggressive. They might lose a model here as well. Looters going to be backing away to base, but now Guru has forced his way out of the base, and Yaay, having lost a Termagant squad, putting him in base, has gained him a lot of map control, but losing a squad though is going to hurt later on down the line, and he's already replacing his Termagant brood, but actually cancels it at the very last second. Then Yaay on so much requisition right now, 600 in requisition saved up. In fact, his economy right now with 3 requisition points as well is so high in comparison to Guru's as well. 354 requisition income to 228 power income is the same between both players, but having an extra 120 or so requisition over the other player is insane. 348 VPs, 498. Yaay has managed to keep Guru low on VPs right now with such aggressive play here from the Hive Tyrant, and both players will be taken up at the same time as well. But Yaay going into tier 2 with even more requisition than Guru at this point in the game. Guru starting to expand back out now, out of his base, starting to get requisition points. Has also got the contested power at the bottom side, and it is now on a 2-to-1 cap here against Yaay. And we'll be on 2 requisition points fairly soon, although the Termagants coming in here, going to force these sluggers off. Harmagants also coming in as well, but these Harmagants still do not have their adrenal glands upgrade. The adrenal glands upgrade does give the Harmagants extra health, extra leap, and it's quite a useful upgrade as well, and fairly cheap in terms of requisition at only 50 requisition, and cheap on power as well at 15 power. Kommando also arming himself here with the better comeback hit, going to be engaging these warriors into melee to prevent them from using their Barb Strangler weapon here, and the looters going to be firing away, taking down a single model here. Snaps bombs are going to go off, but I don't think the Gorns are in range. They are definitely in range now for a Snaps bomb to go off, and the Harmagants getting all knocked over there. Warriors very low, going to get forced off the field, going to be able to get away just fine. That best comeback hit on Kommando going to give him so much staying power with free health regen, also giving him a little bit of extra health and extra energy as well, but the free health regen allows the Kommando to just stay on the field for so long here. And shooters will be going in. And now that Guru is tier 2, he might even consider going double Shooter Boy Nob. The Shooter Boy Nob does increase the damage of the squad overall by 15%, and the Shooter Boy Nob himself as well does the same amount of damage as a big shooter model, which is quite a bit. I think it's about 14 to 15 DPS. And Yaay going to go for that Tyrant Guard, going to be a hard hitting unit now in tier 2. Meanwhile, GuruSkippy going to go for a truck, which isn't hard hitting in itself, but combine that with sluggers with a Nob leader, and combine that with these shooters as well on the field with Nob leaders as well, and you've got yourself a very strong army on the field able to reinforce. The Tyrant Guard is going to be quite annoying here for GuruSkippy to deal with, but sluggers with the Nob leader here will actually be pretty decent actually at fighting the Tyrant Guard. Tyrant Guard is super heavy infantry, 2500 HP of super heavy infantry though. But nonetheless, the Slugger Nob leader doing 65 power melee DPS against super heavy infantry should be able to take it down, or should be able to scare it off anyway. Tyrant Guard, if he is unlucky and doesn't focus down the Nob leader until the very last model, will definitely struggle against the Slugger Boy squad. But Gene Stealer's also coming out here for Yaay. Did have that extra requisition as well come tier 2, so he's able to get 2 things out fairly quickly, 2 things that are fairly lowish on power. Gene Stealer's only costing 45 power, the Tyrant Guard I believe costing 60 power. Able to get multiple things out. Meanwhile, GuruSkippy going for some tier 1 upgrades, which is the Shooter Boy Nob leaders here. But they do actually have a boost in damage in tier 2, so it's useful to get, and also getting the Nob leader as well for the sluggers. So just a lot of upgrades here, along with the War Truck, which is fairly cheap on requisition, fairly cheap on power, only 200 rec, 30 power. But is actually getting the reinforced plating here, 100 requisition, 30 power here. Might be a bit worried about the amount of AV, really doesn't want to lose this truck in fact here. But Yaay is pushing in through mid here. These Homagons still not upgraded with the adrenal glands here. And some tank busters coming out here as well. Seeing that Tyrant Guard, I don't know if you saw the Tyrant Guard yet or not. But tank busters always a good choice. Their barrage is very useful at knocking over units. And meanwhile, Tyrant Guard is pushing in through mid. Looters did reveal themselves by firing away sluggers. Going to be exiting the truck. Tank busters as well. This Tyrant Guard is going to get absolutely surrounded now by sluggers. Going to be forced to fight them. Could always enter shield formation. Could try and charge out of there. These warriors though getting very low. Going to get forced off here. Surprisingly on 3 models there. 200 HP. Very fortunate there for Yaay. The Tyrant Guard is focusing down that Nob Leader. The Nob Leader though doing so much damage to this Tyrant Guard, already down to just 800 HP, and the Tank Busters as well doing quite a bit of damage themselves. But the Nob Leader has gone down. It's now entered its shield wall formation and now become vehicle armor, and will now be a job for the Tank Busters to handle. But the Gene Stealers coming in here do have the Rending Claws upgrade as well, doing 35 heavy melee damage per model. These sluggers really need to back out of there, and the Adrenal Rush is getting used as well. But they're not focusing down these looters though. So they're trying to focus down these sluggers instead of looters. I think they could have killed the looters if they focused them down here. But decides to back away here. The truck back into base now. GuruSkippy almost forced completely off the field here, but the Kommando Nob, while this engagement has been going on, has been busy capping up the area. And will continue to go cap up the area, but Gene Stealers and the Venom Cannon Hive Tyrant are going to start tearing down this generator farm. That Venom Cannon on the Hive Tyrant dealing 28 armor piercing DPS. Quite a lot. Doing how much damage? 63 per shot. And it fires fairly frequently as well. Or it seems like it fires fairly frequently, like a bit of a bursty pattern. But Tank Buster Barrage going to go down here, going to miss as the Homogons do already leave the victory point. But 2 generators down here. Meanwhile, the Tyrant Guard is going to be fighting the Kommando Nob in mid, does have the Kaboom ability and is using it. Not very effective against the Tyrant Guard, more effective against multiple models, but using the Kaboom to actually just get his Kommando Nob out of the area. Very creative there, especially given that it goes into a random direction, or as far as I know, it goes into a random direction. So, but Kommando Nob will be backing away here. Gene Stealers walking past that Kommando Nob, unable to actually do too much about it, but the truck is exiting in mid now. Shooter's going to force off that Hive Tyrant, currently no EV on the field other than heavy melee now for Yaay to deal with this truck. The Sluggers really need that Nob Leader back here. Did lose it against the Tyrant Guard earlier. Warriors taking a lot of damage here, getting forced off, but still going to be on 3 models. Not losing any models, very surprising there, but the Tank Bust's going to try and do what they can against this Tyrant Guard. It is super heavy infantry, so will take damage as well from the shooters. But the shooters, I think, only doing about a quarter to a third of their actual damage to the Tyrant Guard, since it is super heavy. The Tyrant Guard landing a special there, but the Gene Stealers coming in from behind, forcing off 1 squad of shooters here. They're running all the way back to the truck, getting suppressed though by these shooters with the Daka. What's that ability? Slugger's going to be trying to fight these Gene Stealers. Looks like the Adrenal Rush is on cooldown here for the Gene Stealers. They're not healing per attack. They will be able to take or force the Tank Busters into that truck though. But in the end, Tyrant Guard is getting very low itself. The Warriors have been cooled down here as well. So now 2 squads of Warriors, but the Warriors going to get absolutely focused down here by these Sluggers without their Adrenal Glands. They do not have the tankiness to stand up against these leveled Sluggers here. The Sluggers now at level 2, and the Synapse bombs going off from all 3 Warriors dying has actually killed the Tyrant Guard along with the Tank Buster help here. And Yaay is down to just a very small army right now. In fact, just down to Warriors, Homogons and Termagants. Does have the VP lead, 239 to 365 here. Meanwhile, shooters and Tank Busters going to be moving up to this generator farm, but Yaay with the much superior economy. I mean, he does have less upkeep to pay because he has lost a lot of his units, so, but his requisition income though, 350 compared to 209. Does also have the slight power advantage, versus to bash the power of Guru earlier as well. These shooters though getting very low, going to get forced off. Tank Busters as well, getting forced off here. Trying to bash down that power. We're able to take down just the single generator. The other 2 generators did live overall. Meanwhile, Sluggers going to be engaging here. These Warriors landing suppression onto the Shooter Boy squad, but these Sluggers are kind of unmatched right now. These Sluggers still got a Nob Leader though. I think GuruSkippy should really consider getting a Nob Leader again, because the Nob Leader had so much of an effect earlier. These Warriors going to lose a second model. The Warriors going to barely be able to escape here. Should lose a second model here. And we'll do some damage onto those Termagants there on retreat, and the Hive Tyrant going to be charging in here with his Venom Cannon. Melee weapon on Venom Cannon, not the best melee weapon, but the charge being very useful at just disruption in general. And Slugger's going to be tearing down this Capillary Tower. Slugger's the only units on the field, and Yaay going to be taking up to tier 3 here. Could try and call in Without Number to try and reinforce here by getting an extra set of Homogons and Termagants from the Without Number ability. These Sluggers though getting a little bit aggressive here, really wants to go in for these Termagants here, but I don't think these Sluggers are going to be able to do it here. In the end, we'll get forced off here. Hive Tyrant maybe trying to force melee on retreat here. Don't think he'll be able to kill the Sluggers. The Venom Cannon not the best at retreat killing here, but down to just 15 HP. If the armor piercing DPS actually lands their shots there, might be able to kill it, but in the end the Hive Tyrant will get forced away here. These Sluggers going to be able to barely live here, nearly level 3 as well. And it'll be interesting to see what Yaay does go for come tier 3. Does actually have enough requisition, or not enough requisition, enough red here, but Without Number. just about. I believe the ability costs 200 or 250 red, and he does have just enough for it. Going to go for the tier 3 Lictor. A nice choice as well if you are behind an army and want to just go around and sneak cap around the map. The Lictor is also a tier 3 detector, similar to Commandos in tier 3. A lot of tier 3 stealth units, or I think those are the only tier 3 stealth units I can think of off the top of my head, but they are both detectors, which allows them to, well, detect other units. But the Lictor will be very useful against this Commander Nob in general. If the Commander Nob is going around sneak capping around the map, and the Lictor is also sneak capping, if they run into each other, the Lictor will be able to detect the Commander Nob and the Lictor as well. When it is infiltrated, it does not cost energy to actually infiltrate at all, but when you are infiltrated on the Lictor, you are not able to regen any energy whatsoever. But the fact that you can actually infiltrate without costing any energy whatsoever is an extremely useful tool come tier 3. Since you don't have to worry so much about energy management with stealthed units, and these tank busters are able to take down the rest of the generator farm here of Yaay. Yaay, though, was still a fairly small army, does have that tier 3 Lictor though to go around the map and actually cap. In fact, going to be fighting the Commander Nob over here as well. Meanwhile, there is a cooldown in mid, could be without number, could be warriors, but I think it's going to be without number since he's already got warriors on the field. There's no need to get a second warrior squad in particular. But the Lictor is going to force off the Commander Nob. GuruSkippy can get forced off the map completely here. The War Truck is on the field, but the War Truck not going to be able to do too much, and they're going to be Nob squad coming out here for Guru. And Yaay with nothing to really deal with the Nobs here. He does have double Homogons now, one from the cooldown, but I don't think double Homogons going to be enough really to deal with Nobs, especially if they have their frenzy, especially if they're fully upgraded with their huge hammers, since they do gain momentum with each swing, giving them increased damage. But yeah, going to be tearing down the remainder of Guru's generator farm here. At the same time, this War Truck being very annoying here. They're trying to back it up here into Yae's army, and Slugger's going to be vacating the vehicle here, going to be trying to fight these Homogons here, and Tank Busters as well, trying to jump into the fight. Tank Busters will need to be careful, they cannot do a barrage, otherwise they will hit their own War Truck. This War Truck though taking a lot of damage here, and that Hive Tyrant with the Venom can do quite a bit of damage here. One more hit and it will go down, but the Hive Tyrant not in range though. Shooter's going to be pushing in here, getting suppressed though by those Barb Strangler Warriors, and Barrage now going down here. These Warriors do need to be careful, down to just 2 out of 3 models here, and very low. The truck did live overall. Nobs now out on the field. The Hive Tyrant is backing away here. These Warriors going to bleed a model maybe onto these Shooters on retreat, and the Synapse Bomb going down, but the Lictor is going to jump in here to prevent any kind of melee going down, but the Commander Nob himself has actually finished off that Warrior squad. Nobs may even finish off these Termagants here, but unable to actually do so. Now the Lictor, wow, that flesh hook range. I believe the Lictor does actually have a slightly longer flesh hook range compared to the Lictor Alpha. It is a tier 3 unit after all, but the Lictor are going to infiltrate here and go away, and see what I mean about it does not cost energy to infiltrate here. The Lictor is on 30 energy, his energy is not being drained, but at the same time you do not regenerate energy while infiltrated, but it's still a very useful tool come tier 3. You can infiltrate for as long as you want. Nobs making their way towards mid, currently no upgrades on them yet. I'd like to see the Nob leader along with the meaner and greener upgrade as well. The Commander Nob here is getting knocked over by the Lictor. The Lictor is going to re-infiltrate here as well, but the Commander Nob going to infiltrate himself. But that tier 3 Lictor is a detector, so it can detect the Commander Nob. I'm not sure what radius it detects, and I think it's standard detection radius, but again, good to see some commandos get called in now that the Nobs are out on the field. Guru with enough red actually to call in a Rocks. We could even see a Rocks in the next engagement. Gene Stealers coming in once again here for Yaay. Commander Nob is infiltrated here. Lictor needs to move in a little bit closer to detect that Commander Nob. Tank Buster is going to go for that single power node, which is all by its lonesome. Lictor could flesh hook the Commander Nob here right into the army and actually try and kill him. The Commander Nob does have Kaboom. It is using Kaboom as well, in fact, and spreads out that army here. The Commander Nob is going to try and retreat away. Does catch out those Gene Stealers though with the Kaboom, bring them down to just 600 health. They are using their Adrenal Rush to actually heal on hit, but it's not going to be enough. But these Gene Stealers though should be able to try and fight these Nobs. The thing is, their Nobs are going to hit really hard with each melee attack, and will have a better chance of bleeding models compared to these Gene Stealers, but the Frenzy is getting used here. Gene Stealers trying to switch targets now to the Shooters. The Adrenal Rush is on cooldown here for these Gene Stealers, so they will need to be a bit careful. The Shooters getting very low here. Double Homogons going to try and do what they can here on the retreat. The Lictor is now potentially going to get focused down here by the Nobs. Everything's trying to focus down these Nobs here, and the Adrenal not the Adrenal, the Frenzy is on cooldown. The War Truck coming into these knobs can actually reinforce on the field, but these knobs getting very low. Slug is going to be vacating the truck here, going to be going after these Termagants here. Warrior is going to get called in here as well here for Yaay, but the knobs are actually going to go down on the field. The double Homagants were enough to take them down. Now the War Truck is going to get jumped on here. The Hive Tyrant going to try and do what he can. That truck down to just 18 health, with the looters coming in here with the last second suppression to actually force off the squad. Sluggers unable to finish off that Termagant brood. The crippling poison came in just in time. Now these Sluggers are in risk of going down here. That Elixir with a lot of melee damage, and with Flesh Hook on retreat, these Sluggers are actually going to go down. Meanwhile, the looters are able to hold the line here, but the Sluggers going to go down here for GuruSkippy. The Homagants and Warriors try to push against these looters, but were unable to actually do so. But both Homagant squads are alive, along with the Warriors as well. And Guru losing quite a lot there, losing the Sluggers, losing the knobs, down to just no melee units whatsoever now. At the same time, Tank Busters getting caught out here by Genestealer. What is that retreat path though? That is extremely unfortunate for Guru. There's one model here that decides to actually turn around and run back into the Genestealers there. But Tank Busters will be going down overall. That Kommando Nob desperately trying to chase down that Hive Tyrant, unable to do so, even though the Kommando Nob is doing a lot of damage this game. His default weapon, or any weapon in fact, in range is not going to be enough to take down that Hive Tyrant, and Genestealers are infiltrated right here. Could try and jump onto the Kommando Nob, but the Kommando Nob with the Kaboom ability should be able to protect himself fairly easily. Kaboom should probably get used here against special, but the Kaboom is going to catch out those Genestealers as they try to run away here. Wow, that Kaboom really done a lot of damage, bringing the Genestealers down to just 330 HP. Was unable to take down any models, but forced the squad back to base to actually go and heal up now. Meanwhile, the tier 3 Elixir is also running back to base at just 11 HP, barely able to keep alive here. And a lot of the map belonging to GuruSkippy right now, but GuruSkippy still below on VPs by nearly 100 here, on 143 VPs. The 220 Sluggers need to get replaced here as well for Guru, as he does not have any repair units whatsoever, and that looter tank will not last too long if it does not have any repair support. This truck, in fact, is barely clinging on to life here with no repair support whatsoever. Brunest is going to go down here, and looks like Yaay is getting ready for a push here. Warriors have been upgraded with the Adrenal Glands here, but still only on 2 out of 3 models here. Don't think that Yaay can afford to actually reinforce right now. Is very low on requisition and on power at the same time. But Elixir could always try and sneak around actually and try and kill the truck, but Elixir does have heavy melee, which is effective against vehicles, and because it can infiltrate into combat, you can always try and get those rear armor hits as well at the same time. Genestealers need to be careful. They don't want to be the ones who are leading the charge, and they're extremely fragile here, but they are going to be ones leading charging. Commandos out in the field. Commandos are tier 3 detectors, just like that Elixir. Loves to dack it into the rocks, going to come down here. These Warriors though are going to be able to dodge it somewhat. But the Genestealers though getting very low here. Elixir going to jump onto that truck and kill it. These Genestealers very low. Warriors able to escape those rocks there, but down to just 1 model here. Blue Tower's going to go down, but all the models though very low here. These Homagants extremely low. Elixir going to be jumping in onto that Kommando Nob. Kaboom is going to get used here, but Elixir, the Warriors actually knocking the Kommando Nob away before he was able to cast that, and he will be able to live. The looter tank going to go down here to the Venom Cannon. Hive Tyrant. GuruSkippy has lost so much in that engagement there. And Elixir is even going in for a decap. 143 VPs to 160 Termagants are coming in. Elixir could try and jump or use Flesh Hook to try and interrupt those looters, but is going to retreat instead back to base here. And it's currently going to be a 2-0 cap here for Yaay, who's been ahead in VPs all game, but was behind in army for quite a long time here, and in fact is now ahead in army for the first time in since tier 1. It's felt like tier 1 anyway. Shooter's going to try and use the green cover here behind this war truck, which will help them out somewhat, but Commandos also coming in once again here. Commandos do not have their Nob Leader. The Nob Leader is not needed here. In fact, Commandos do also have a faster cap or decap rate as well, but the Nob Leader isn't needed. Nob Leader is more for an AV solution, but there's not going to be any vehicles here. Yaay is unable to afford a Carnifex or anything like that. Love to Daka, they're going to catch out both of those Homagants here. No burner bomb though on that Kommando squad. These Warriors though getting very low. The Cinemas Bomb could go down here. The looters have set up here as well, but the Hive Tyrant is going to be able to tank that fairly easily. The Homagant's going to try and come in here, but the Termagant's coming in from the other side. These looters are going to be unable to actually focus down both squads at the same time. These looters trying to do what they can against these Homagants, but they're just going to close the gap here and force off those looters. They are level 3 as well. Kommando Nub is also going to get repurchased here as well. The Commandos are very low themselves, 100 VPs to 160. Commandos even getting called in as well from the Kommando Nub global ability. Double Commandos with the Kommando Nub. Guru might try and go in for a sneak cap around the map here to try and win the game here, but that tier 3 Lictor going around the map is a tier 3 detector, and will be able to fight the Commandos in melee as well. But again, this Lictor is only a single unit compared to a Commando squad, which is an entire squad of units. But that tier 3 Lictor though is incredibly strong. He is level 2, 1430 health here. Going to be jumping in here, going to be sitting idle here for some reason, and then retreating away. Commanders with the Love to Daka here, very difficult to see, but the Homogons were getting knocked over, Termagons were getting knocked over, but the Kommando Nub is trying to go in for a rush in towards mid. Meanwhile, it looks like it could be another without number. I don't think it's going to be Warriors, I believe it's going to be without number once again, which does reinforce units on the field as well, and Yaay gain a free army for the second time around. The Kaboom going to be knocking that Kommando Nub all the way across the map. The Commandos are getting very low here. One Commando squad is definitely going to go down now. Now triple Homogons here. GuruSkippy does call GG. The Kommando Nub going to go down. The Commandos also going to go down. And Yaay is going to win this game after having such a small army in tier 1 after that push where he lost quite a bit there. He will be able to come in, and even after losing quite a lot in tier 2 as well, the Tyrant Guard and the Warriors as well will be able to come in with that tier 3 tech and win the game. And be sure to check out monthly Rumble tournaments. I will leave a link in the description to the stream if you want to watch it, or if not, it will be on YouTube later on if you want to watch it, or if you're unable to watch it live, or if you're playing in the tournament and want to watch it later as well.